Hey guys, Brandon here. I'm in the Model X, and early this morning I got the drive on navigation feature, or navigate on autopilot as it's called. So I've got some directions on here. I'm on a divided road. I have not used it yet. I did set it to Mad Max in terms of passing and stuff. So here I go. I'm gonna hit navigate on autopilot. And let's see what happens. Probably have to get to these lines here. There we go. Alright, let's see what happens. Keep your hands on the wheel, blah blah blah, standard stuff. So nothing different here. So it looks like it's quite specific on what roads. This is not a freeway. So looks like I might have to wait until I'm on the freeway. Okay, I'm about to get onto the freeway here. Got navigation enabled, although I don't have autopilot on yet. Just missed the window to merge on here. Alright, here we go. Autopilot's available. Up, yep, see, it went right to the single file. Jason Calcanis calls this wire guided, or wire drive on wire or something. It does kind of look like a wire. This is a completely new experience. I've never used this feature before, so it's gonna need to merge me onto there, and there's no window there, so I'm gonna have to do it myself. So things are a little crazy here. It did suggest that I take that route, but again, I'm on Mad Max mode, so it should be pretty aggressive. Alright. So obviously what happens is the only blue thing is the vector, or predicted path, which is now a center line instead of two lines. When you're not on navigate on autopilot, then the lane lines are blue. So this is, I'm not sure why this is not suggesting a faster route. Oh well. So that was pretty quick, right there. Settings here. Speed-based lane changes. Yeah, Mad Max. So that should be working. So the autopilot itself is pretty much the same. Difference display, and we'll see what happens when I come up to my exit. It's supposed to suggest the lane changes and then disengage on the exit ramp. So upcoming lane change, here we go, 2.3 miles. That's what it's saying right here. Upcoming lane change, it tells me to the right, and everything is blue. That's associated with autopilot, or navigate on autopilot. I guess I should put like active autopilot. Everything is blue, so it's like Smurf themed. Okay. 1.8 miles. It's hard to keep track of everything. Interesting. There's a gray center line right there. I'm not sure. Maybe that means that that's it's also a possible. Okay, now it's telling me to confirm the lane change. So sure, why not? Why isn't it merging here? Okay, it kind of slowed down there way too fast. so that wasn't really good. But yeah, confirm another lane change. Alright, we got that. I've also got the follow distance set to the minimum. So I think I'm going to need to do one more lane change to get onto the exit. So pretty cool. This would definitely be much more impressive if it was actually actively doing these. Because if it doesn't give you enough warning, you may not have time to confirm it. So it'd be nice if the car was preparing. Okay, so it's not telling me to get into the exit lane yet, but it should. It hasn't told me yet. Why hasn't it told me? Oh yeah, there we go. So it would not have been able to take that very well. 500 feet, navigate on autopilot ending. I don't know if you can see that. It's slowing down. It's taking this just fine. There's the chime that it's back to regular autopilot. Auto steer. It's doing this turn really well. And I believe it's even slowing down more than even accounting for following that vehicle. Yeah, it's slowing down, so it knows to do that. So now the lines are freaking out. Doesn't know what to do in the city context. Lots of neural net training needed there for city stuff. So, pretty good for a first start. Yeah. So it's, I don't really know how aggressive Mad Max is. It was hard to tell, like, can the car really tell if it needs to speed up and find a window or not? I don't know how well it can time things. It seems like it needs to start planning lane changes much earlier, so we'll see when that gets to the versions of software where you don't have to confirm the lane change. But so far that's pretty cool. The notifications down there that a lane change is needed is fairly small. So I kind of like those. Of course, I have my steering wheel up so that the camera can see better. So I wasn't seeing them quite as well as I probably should have. So I feel like the driver needs to have a little bit better assistance in seeing those notifications without taking eyes off the road so much. So I don't know, maybe the display can change to a more enhanced autopilot type of display up here, so it's really all about sort of co-driving with autopilot, and it's telling you, get ready for this, okay, do this. I would really like to know that the car can tell where the windows are in the lane that it needs to change into. Like, there's a car right next to me. I don't know if I have to take over to, like, get in front of or behind that car, or if it can actually accelerate and get ahead of a car. I would think Mad Max would be able to, you know, insert the vehicle into any lane that is needed, or any window between cars that is needed. Okay, this car is really crawling. Anyway, alright, I'm gonna try it on the way home. Alright, we are back. I'm gonna be taking a freeway here. About to get on the on-ramp, and then I'll very quickly have a freeway exchange, and then I'll have an exit later on. So it looks like first, let's see, yeah, you can see this. So every time, I thought when you turn on navigate on autopilot, I thought that that would always stay on, but that's not the case. So you have to turn it on every time you, I mean, I know you have to turn autopilot on, but I didn't know you had to select nav on autopilot every time. So let's get this going. Autopilot's not available yet, or auto steer I should say. Nope, still not. Okay, come on. There we go. We're on the on-ramp, and okay, it still got me at 30 miles an hour. That's not going to work for a freeway. Hello. I have to adjust my speed apparently, independently. Okay, so that was interesting. It just merged for me onto the freeway, and it's gonna miss the exit here, so it was not able to get over 3 lanes that quickly. Turn my blinker back off. Alright, so now we're on the freeway exchange, whatever it's called. And so we're back to the line, the navigation line. It's also a very bumpy road, so sorry about the wiggling. Hopefully you can see okay. Alright, resuming freeway speed. Let's bump it up a little bit so we're not blocking stuff. This lane ends in about a mile, and then my exit is in, it's telling me 3.7 miles. So, there we go, now it's a little smoother. Alright, let's see what's going on. Actually, what I'm going to do is I'm going to squeak in between these cars so that somebody's in front of me. And then I'm going to see if it will suggest a faster route. Alright, now we're in this lane. Let's go up to 75 and see what happens if we have to go up higher. Because this car is really booking it. If it can suggest a faster route. Here we go. Sheesh. Car's going really fast. Alright. Let's see here. So it's not asking me to change. It's navigating this construction zone very well. Okay, we have a broken line, so why isn't asking me? Seems like it would make sense to merge around this vehicle. Although maybe it knows that that lane is slower. I don't know. I'm going to turn it off for a sec, and I'm going to merge into this lane, see if it does it now that I'm in the slow lane. So this car is going way slower. Let's see if it recommends moving. Nope, I guess it just wants me to go slow. So that's kind of a bummer. Unless it knows that my turn is going to be on the right pretty soon. That could be as well. Well, I definitely wouldn't call it Mad Max aggressiveness. In terms of like trying to pass vehicles and stuff like that. It's definitely super conscious. Alright. The lane we're in is actually the exit lane, so I shouldn't have to move anywhere. So that's kind of cool. And let's see what it does on the exit here. Yep, it's telling that the guide wire is correct. Now it just turned on the blinker, which is interesting. That wasn't me. And it did this down chime. Dee dee dee. now we're back on conventional autopilot. It's slowing down by itself for these curves and for this car. So there we go. Now I need to take it off so I can do this. So a couple of impressions about this. One, it's super cool. So that's great. I like the display. I think the suggestions for lane changes to be a little bit more obvious. More like on your phone when a card comes up with a suggestion. That would be cool. Yeah, so that's all good. It's definitely not fast. So if it needs to quickly change lanes to get somewhere, that's not going to happen. If it needs to, it also, like, it'll suggest changing one lane, but I don't know if you're moving over like 2 lanes, do you have to turn the blinker on twice, or can you just leave the blinker on? I suspect that you have to turn the blinker on and then off and then on again to move over several lanes. So that's probably something that will get better with time. Well, it has to, because once this thing does that all by itself, it's going to have to be able to do that. Anyway, but then every time I use these features, it always reminds me of how far it is from driverless technology. So, I mean, this vehicle has, I think part of this download is like a higher resolution of maps. So it has all the mapping data, and there's Teslas that drive around here, so it has previously routed maps. So it knows the lanes and all that kind of stuff, and it's still difficult for it to, you know, place itself in between cars and that sort of thing. So there's, this is like super early, I guess, and it's the first of its kind. I mean, no other car is doing this that's, you know, commercially available. This is the first of the full self-driving suite. This is actually really the first of the Enhanced Autopilot suite. I guess like the improved display here was actually you could argue that was part of Enhanced, but that's just that's the display. That's not really the function of the car. So this is the first thing that the car can do that's truly Enhanced Autopilot. So we're very early here. The neural net is early. So things are just going to get better from here. And I want to test it some more, different situations, different traffic scenarios, different exits. So a couple things that I didn't know. I didn't know that it automatically turns on the blinker when you're going up an on-ramp and when you're going on an off-ramp. So entering and exiting a freeway, it actually operates the blinkers for you. It's just changing lanes that, actually I didn't notice that if it turns the blinker on when it suggests the lane, or if it doesn't turn the blinker on until you confirm with your blinker. But anyway, what else? Otherwise, so I didn't know that off the freeway that the autopilot display is different. You have lane lines instead of the navigation line. I mean, it makes sense, but I didn't realize. I thought it was always going to have the pathway now, but I guess you wouldn't have a pathway if you don't have navigation going. But I have navigation going, so it still could. So anyway, I'm not sure. I guess that's for the future. So all that to say, there's 2 different ways of displaying. There's lane lines, and then there's the navigation single line. But all in all, pretty cool. I was looking forward to testing this out all day, and yeah, it was really cool. I'm a little disappointed that it's not. I was hoping it would be a little bit better at merging into traffic, but I've got to test that more, because And of course, again, this is just early software and stuff, but the car really has to get good at interacting with other cars on the road and predicting their positioning and being able to fit itself in, because that's what a good driver does. So we'll see how that develops. Anyway, I hope this was interesting. I'm gonna sign off now. I've got my nav here to a local store here, so I'm gonna head off, and I will see you guys in the next video.